So what we have to do, I think, as Americans is, look, you got a president. He's your president, whether you like it or not. That's your president for 4 years. Let's hope he does a great job.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you want him to do the great job?
Yeah.
He's the captain of the ship. I don't want to hit the rocks.
Yeah.
Let's hope he gets us into a beautiful harbor.
Absolutely.
So together, that doesn't mean the Democrats can't win in 4 years, but
Yeah.
you can't win doing this. You can't win all saying this shit ain't right, and then all of you say the exact same thing. Well, now I know who's on the take. Now I know who's got the script. Now I know who doesn't have a fucking mind of their own.
Yeah.
You have to read the script that whatever corporate daddy filed onto your desk.
It's think tank politics.
They need a real leader, and those real leaders are all pussy hounds, and they're all gonna. That's the problem. They all got skeletons.
Yeah, it's got to come from outside. Yeah, I wonder, like,
Or they got to be a guy like Trump who could take the hits
that's
and keep on trucking.
you need to have like a very strong constitution to do that.
I don't understand his constitution.
What do you mean? You go through the same shit.
Yeah, but his is beyond. They shot him, dude.
Yeah, they haven't shot you yet.
Not only did they shoot him yet, not
You
only did
perform inside. That's the problem.
That's part of the problem.
Yeah.
But not only did they shoot him, but people forgot about it in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And to this day,
moving right along. He didn't get shot enough.
To this
like
day,
people were talking about his ear.
yeah.
They're like, oh, but it doesn't look that shot. And it's like,
there's so many people that think that he rigged it, that he did it on purpose, that he staged it.
yeah, he staged
Like,
a bullet coming.
Nicking his ear.
come
Like,
on.
they don't understand accuracy.
Come on.
Especially with iron sights. You know, he didn't even
does
have a
that mean?
scope on the rifle.
So
Iron. Do you know what iron sights
No.
are? Okay. So, like, say if you have a pistol.
Yeah.
At the back of the pistol, where the handle is.
Yeah.
There's these.
Oh, the little
this
thing that you're
plate
supposed to
like
look
this,
through, yeah.
And then there's a little post at
Yeah.
the front, and you line the two of them up like that.
yeah,
And he's shooting 140 yards with iron sights.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just nick someone's ear.
Yeah.
You'll hit their fucking head. You'll
Yeah.
blow their brains out
Yeah.
accidentally.
how much do you have to account for gravity at that distance?
You don't. You
Okay.
do, that's really short. That's a short distance. That's why you can like put the post on it. If you wanted to go long distance, then you would want a scope. You want a high-powered scope, and you would also use ballistic software.
What is
Ballistic software is like you would apply. Like there's like a watch that has it built in, actually. The Garmin Tactics X.
Okay.
Tactics 8, rather.
Shout out Garmin.
So you would take this ballistic software, you calculate the distance. So you would use a rangefinder, which he had, by the way. He had a fucking he was walking around with a rangefinder before they saw him with a rangefinder. They didn't even arrest him. Somebody let him on that roof. They fucking gave him that gun. That's what I think. The rangefinder would say, 500 yards. Yeah. So then you would set your sight for 500 yards.
And then
so
it adjusts accordingly when you're looking. Yeah.
So your application
Yeah.
with some scopes, you can actually sync up your scope with your app. So it'll put the reticle, it'll put the crosshairs exactly where you need to aim.
for the bullet to drop.
Exactly.
Got it.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
So the reticle, the X would move up and down
Accordingly, yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
But at that distance, you're saying that there isn't too much.
No, there's no, and he's also
drop.
elevated. It's a straight shot. It's
Yeah.
a pretty fair. I mean, maybe a very slight drop because it's only like a millisecond before
Yeah.
it hits him. It's a very slight drop at that. But when you get to like significant distances, like 400 yards,
Yeah.
500 yards, it's a factor.
Yeah.
Like you hold high. Like say if you have,
What does that
if
mean,
you're
hold high?
So if you're zeroed, say if I'm shooting a deer and my rifle's zeroed at 100 yards, that means at 100 yards it shoots exactly where that crosshairs is. But the deer is 300 yards, I'll hold it at the top of his back.
Because you know it's going to come down.
I know it's going to drop.
This is with bows, or this is with
No,
bows?
this is with a rifle.
And then with bows, I imagine it's even more.
With bows, you have to be very, very sure because there's so much drop. There's so much drop.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much drop. Like I have a rangefinder that's not just a rangefinder. It's called a full draw, so Leupold Full Draw 5. And what it does is it doesn't just put the reticle and tell me the exact distance. It says I'm not aiming with this. This is just giving me the distance. But it also shows me a line where the peak of the arrow height is. Because the arrow arcs, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm doing is I'm shooting through trees sometimes. Like I'm trying to shoot an animal, and I'm shooting through a gap in the trees.
So you have to make sure that on the drop, it passes through that gap in the tree.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.